on this Thursday, September 17th. 9 days until kickoff, 9 days until the Florida game. So, what do we need to talk about today? Well, how about the uniforms? We'll get to that in just a second. The powder blue uniforms, the first look at them has occurred, so just stick around for that. But before we get into that, I want to talk about subscribing to YouTube, joining on Facebook group, liking our Facebook page, both shows, we have one, following our Twitch channel. If you prefer audio only, we're available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and we just added Stitcher. So that's pretty cool. So you can follow it there. If you want to be notified about our live streams, we're available on Discord. Basically, we're closing in on like 15 platforms that we're available on. We have a Positively Ole Miss subreddit. We have a Positively Ole Miss Slack channel. It's pretty cool. If you have a tip or anything, you just want to let us know, you can email us at positivelyolemmiss@gmail.com. We have an email address for that too. Kind of a tip line. So, those uniforms. Man, that's fantastic. I didn't think I could get more excited, and then we just led with those uniforms. I thought we were going to do it for Alabama. I mean, those uniforms have long been rumored to be available. But the reality is, they probably ordered them 2 years ago after the Jalen Jones pick got released that caused such a stir. But it's fantastic. And why is it fantastic? See all the reaction from the kids and the coaches and the staff on Twitter. I mean, that's the deal. This is a recruiting play. Now, this is supposed to be fun for the fan base, but at its core, this is a recruiting play. It's going to go through social media from one high-profile recruit to another. I expect the graphics made in Photoshop to send recruits will be of the powder blue variety. So it's all going to come down to that. Everything this staff does, other than on the field stuff, is about recruiting. Everything. On the field, it's about competition. The best will play. And realize that this podcast has no favorites when it comes to players. Whoever wins the job needs to play. The best player needs to play. We're behind them 100% no matter who is out there. We're fans of Ole Miss, not a certain player. Now, I realize in politics right now, you take one extreme or the other and you don't meet in the middle. So my stance is probably not a popular one. That's okay. But whoever wins the job has this podcast full support. We're not going to pick and choose. But what we saw released was the powder blue helmet with the powder blue jersey. We did not see the pants. They could be white. They could be gray. But they need to be gray. They really need to be gray. The gray is what caused the stir. It's kind of a unique look. It's something we can use and recruit to, because we already have some of the best looking uniforms in college football. Red with the powder blue helmet, blue with the navy blue helmet, white with the powder blue helmet. White with the white helmet looks great too. I mean, it's hard to go wrong with our color scheme. And when I say that, I don't just mean cardinal red and navy blue or yellow blue. But it's actually navy blue because yellow blue is royal blue. It looks more like Kentucky. But we have a lot to play with. I mean, white is obvious. Powder blue is fantastic, which happened in the Vaught era because of a mistake in making an order. We were supposed to have navy blue helmets that matched, and they sent robin's egg blue. And since they needed the helmets, they wore it, and it became our tradition. So the gray pants. But people need to, when it comes to this, they need to realize that just because something new shows up, it's not replacing what's old. We get that you are militantly opposed to change. We get that. We understand that. But the powder blue uniform is an addition, not a replacement. It's an addition, not a replacement. It's going to look fantastic on TV. I'm not worried about it. And also the Houston Oilers look is in play with the white helmet coming back. White helmet, blue jersey, white pants. That's available and in our toolkit as well. We can do that. I hate to ask the question, do we have powder blue pants? Are they going monochromatic? Do they have navy blue pants? I have on good authority, by the way, that we had white pants with navy blue stripes that we never wore. Not once. That was straight from Michael Thompson, who was part of the branding initiative that happened with Hugh Freeze then. So just because you're not seeing it doesn't mean it's not here. That's important to realize. But we get these super clean ice jerseys of powder blue and powder blue. For the first time in Ole Miss history, they are going to grace a field together. Anyway, we'll talk to you later, just after this break. This is Positively Ole Miss, the POMcast. Thanks for listening.
Only 10% of us get enough daily exercise.
And that number is dropping.
Nearly 30% of us are overweight or obese.
We spend 6 hours a day in front of a screen.
As a result, we now have a shorter life expectancy than our parents.
But give us the right start in sports, and we'll never stop.
Learn how at active4life.ca.
Hey, this is Stephen Willis from Positively Ole Miss. We're almost done with this break. We'll be back with good information quite soon.
The military has been in every generation of my family, and so has VA. It wasn't easy for my dad after Vietnam, but VA helped him and my mom get the home they'd always wanted. My grandpa's been coming to VA since World War II. They even helped him lay to rest one of his battle buddies from Normandy. And me, I followed in their footsteps and served with pride. And now that I'm out of the military, the GI Bill's helping me with school. Every generation of my family has served, and VA has served us all.
Welcome back. I am your host, Stephen Willis, here to talk to you about all things Ole Miss. Coming at ya. Anyway, 9 days away from kickoff at Vaught Hemingway Stadium, Ole Miss will be wearing powder blue jerseys. We have not seen the pants. We'll have to wait for the uniform reveal for that. Powder blue helmet as well. So, I want to talk to you a little bit about the quarterback battle and what that means. What I want is for you to take a middle ground approach to this battle. Don't treat it like we treat everything, which is extremes on both sides. Treat it down the middle. We are Ole Miss fans. We're not a player fan. People can have opinions about players, but opinions really do not matter. Everybody's allowed to have them, and you can say whatever you want. But remember that as we move forward towards the season, it just doesn't matter who takes the first snap at quarterback. It just doesn't. Now, I realize this is a big story because basically there's the Oxford echo chamber and there's the national media. And they have different places they are coming from, but they're trying to make this the story because people want answers and there are no answers to give. So they do the anonymous sources game and play the telephone game, and it just goes round and round in Oxford. I mean, you don't go like 2 for 25 on 2 signing days and not need a win. I get it. I mean, it's just worth pointing out, just that we need to look. They're trying to play the drama game. Now, in doing so, because they do not care about Ole Miss, they only care about their business model, which one of them is happiness and one of is anger. And you're going to make money if either of those are hit. If you're angry, you're going to go over to one side. If you're happy, you're going to go over to the other. That's the fact. Although I don't know this year because it's a little bit different. And if you hear press conferences, you can pick that out. Also, on our YouTube channel, Positively Ole Miss, the press conferences in full are available the day of the press conferences. So you can see what they're going to write their stories on the next couple of days. Little inside baseball there. And you can see the facial expressions and body language of the answer when they're giving it. It's important. It's real. You can see who is asking questions and what is the quality of questions they're asking. And what is the quality of questions they're asking. You can see the ones that always are planning on figuring out how they're going to go negative by the way they ask their questions. So that's just something. Go to our YouTube page, subscribe. The podcast, all the videos are there as well. You can go to facebook.com/POMcast. At the top, you can hit watch video. That's going to take you to our YouTube channel. So we're kind of building up in 2 places at the moment, and we're going to be available everywhere. We're going to disseminate it however you want to watch, but right now, those two are coming into focus, along with our audio-only SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher. However you want to consume it that way, you can do that as well. It's not important how you consume our content. It's important that you consume it. It's a true multimedia experience. Probably the only time this has ever been attempted. And it's just going to work out. So, again, let's talk about the quarterback competition. We are Ole Miss fans. We're not fans of a single player. Whoever they put out at center they're going to have our full support because they are Ole Miss's quarterback. I am of this opinion. You either put on tape what you want to look like, or winning now is the play. Those are the two plays that really Lane Kiffin has to look at. And what does that mean, you ask, Steve? What does that mean? Well, that means the 2017 offense at FAU was 67% run, plus you got counted for the pass for the flips and the jet sweeps. So they're probably closer to 72% run. Why is that important? Well, they had Devin Singletary and a load of running backs, which is by far our best room at the moment. So in that situation, now you can try to mix it a little bit. You can try to mix it a little bit and just kind of move forward with what's going on. You want to be, I don't know, you want to put on camera what you're going to look like on both sides of the ball. Now, you want to also put on camera wins. So it's going to come down to a balance between winning and projecting. Those are the two recruiting stances that Ole Miss can take. Now, if you take those stances, you can, if you take one stance and win, you're making the gamble that winning is the most important thing. Pulling out a 5-5 this season to show people that it works is the most important thing. More important than putting a 2-8 or 3-7 doing the other thing. That's what you're banking on in that scenario. Now, the other way is purely projection. You want to put 4 recruits on tape what your offense is going to look like and what your defense is going to look like. Now, defense is probably going to hit no matter what you do. But those are the two paths forward. Again, it doesn't matter to this podcast who the quarterback is. We need to get out of that realm of thinking. Quit rooting for a quarterback. Hope that we find a quarterback. That should be what we're doing. Hope that we find a quarterback. Not root for a quarterback. Hope that we find a quarterback. Because if we do, whoever's lining up at quarterback will produce. They will run the offense. And if you want to do second, that second is going to complicate, structure is going to accomplish that first. They're going to win games. Remember, and this is something going into the season that's probably very important. In 2017, Daniel Parr won the quarterback job. He was the passer. He threw a pretty ball. He lasted 3 games. Jason Driscoll, who was a lesser arm quarterback, not a great passer, kind of a runner, won the job and they won 10 games. There is something to say about that. Remember, it doesn't matter who wins the job. It doesn't matter at all who takes the first snap against Florida. It doesn't matter, really, who takes the last snap against LSU. It just doesn't. All right, Egg Bowl preview coming up. I'll talk to you then.
You want to answer that, don't you? I bet it's just killing you seeing the soft glow just inches away. Someone wants to tell you something or ask you something. Oh, come on, answer it already! Just so we're clear, that wasn't my fault. Next time, ignore your inner voice. Don't text and drive. A message from Florida's trusted choice independent insurance agents.
Hey, this is Stephen Willis. I just want you to stick around a little longer. We're going to get back to the podcast right after these messages.
Tonight, nearly 40,000 veterans across the country are homeless. These men and women have pledged to serve our nation, and now we must serve them. Landlords across the country have helped make significant progress in reducing veteran homelessness by making housing available, but there is more that we can do to bring our veterans home. Visit www.va.gov/homeless to see how you can get involved. And if you are a veteran and you are experiencing homelessness, please call 877-4AID-VET. Thank you.
Welcome back to the POMcast. I am your host, Stephen Willis. It's Egg Bowl time. We're going to do an Egg Bowl preview. And in that preview, there's not a lot to say. I'm going to call Ole Miss to win this game by a touchdown or two, simply because this. Mississippi State is due for a system change, a massive system change. KJ Costello will help, but their best player is Kylan Hill. And in an offense that doesn't run the ball, that neutralizes your best player. A bunch of receivers known for not really making plays or dropping the ball. That's not good in an air raid. Now, we've done an air raid, just so you know, Mississippi State. We know it's a transformation. We know what it means, and we know what it looks like when it starts clicking, and it looks pretty good. You guys will like it a lot. But while it is being implemented, while it is being put in, it is a problem. Just understand that. It's going to take a year at least. Now, KJ Costello will help that. He absolutely will. If you didn't get him, you were looking at a potential 1 or 2 win season this year. That's the reality. But like at Washington State, where Mike Leach won 3 games, and he only won 6 games at Texas Tech, even before everybody knew about this air raid when it was bouncing around, so you could outscore people. You just have to take into account that that's happening. They have a major weakness on the defensive side of the ball as well. So, I'm not saying that Mike Leach was a poor hire. And my wife, she just told me like 5 minutes ago, when it comes to Mike Leach, how do you root so hard for a person in Mike Leach and hate everything about their school they went to? And that's true. That's kind of how I feel as well. I don't like anything to do with Mississippi State. But I like Mike Leach. He's fun. I like his pirate stories. I like his press conferences. I like the whole 9 yards. But I have Ole Miss winning this game, let's say by a touchdown. That puts Ole Miss at 5-4 going into Tiger Stadium and LSU, which I will talk about tomorrow. And if they are 5-4, that obviously means that I'm predicting a 5-5 season, potentially a 6-4 season. Which, and under that case, with that happening, you have the ability to recruit. You can point to a direction. Now, it's not going to help you in 2021 where the dead period has been extended until January. No visits. That's March to January, no visits. That doesn't help then. But you can point to something. You have play on the field you can point to. You have the W's to point to. It'll be just like 2012, where you didn't really make any hay in the SEC. You went 6-6. It doesn't matter. You won your last game to even be bowl eligible. The Feed Moncrief game. But that year allowed you to get the 2013 class, which allowed you to get the 2014 class, which allowed you to get the 2015 class. And then you won the Sugar Bowl. All this has been done in recent history at Ole Miss. It can be done again. In 2015 or 2016, they won the Sugar Bowl by blowing out Oklahoma State. That happened. That absolutely happened. And for people in my age range, which is about 45 years, that's the only Sugar Bowl Ole Miss has been to. So, keep that in mind as we go through this season. We hope this all works out. Everything is going to change because, as you saw, the Big Ten is coming back October 23rd, 24th, and the Pac-12's in discussions to come back. And basically, you're looking at a late fall season instead of a spring season. Although football in the spring could be fun, but that could be the Rock's coming out party. I don't know if he's going to come out for next year for the XFL. But you need to understand that. Also, Ole Miss just released their home team program. And that home team program allows a lot of second screen options, including pregame warm-ups, and there's a Spotify playlist, and there's a whole lot of stuff that is designed to mimic what the stadium looks like. So you probably need to follow that. That's going to be a good second screen opportunity. So I just wanted to tell you about that. For me, it's could be a third screen or potentially a fourth screen opportunity. That's just because I have a lot of TVs on game day, because I love football. I do. Also, November 25th, college basketball comes back. Kermit Davis and the boys taking over the pavilion. This should be a pretty good team that has been put together through the recruiting cycle with Matthew Morrell and through the transfer market through Demencio Vaughn and Romello and such. So pay attention to what's going on there. This is something we can build for in the future. But right now, we are 9 days away from college football in Vaught Hemingway Stadium. Capacity will only be at about 25%, but it's going to be so worth it because we're going to have football back. We are going to have football back. Didn't look like we were. We are. Anyway, we'll talk to you tomorrow. LSU preview. Have a great day.